Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX. So recently I ended up getting a PS5 console, mainly so that I could play the MW3 beta early, but I did also decide to try to play Warzone on it and see how does it feel to play Warzone on a console versus a PC. Now, normally I am on a very high-end PC. I've got a 4090 GPU, an Intel i9-13900KS CPU. And if that sounds like a foreign language to you, basically it is as good as it gets when it comes to PC hardware in terms of getting the most FPS you can get. On top of that, I play on a 1440p 240 hertz refresh rate monitor. I get well over 200 FPS even on medium to high settings. I've got a custom aim controller that is overclocked for ultra low input delay. I use custom EQ so I can hear footsteps better, and I use custom color filters so the game pops even more. So basically what I'm trying to say is I use every competitive advantage that I can possibly get. So with all that in mind, I wanted to see what is it like to go back and play on a completely stock PS5 and also use a completely stock PS5 controller, not even using paddles or even a control freak. Now, what ended up happening was honestly a bit crazy and kind of shocked me, but this is my honest opinion on the comparison from console to PC. In terms of FPS and game performance, overall the game ran perfectly fine, but I definitely got a lot less FPS. I was probably averaging maybe around like 100 FPS or so on the PS5, and I didn't think that made that big of a difference unless I was turning around like super quickly and spinning very, very fast, which is rare. You really need to do that. The biggest thing I noticed in terms of graphics was actually more on the color perspective. The PS5 just, it didn't like pop. It was a lot more kind of like bland and whatnot. And a part of that is because on PC, I use custom color filters to kind of make the game more vibrant, but also so I can see in dark shadows a little bit better. And on console, I definitely had more trouble seeing my enemies in dark lit areas, especially if they were like a very dark operator, like the Black Noir skin or the Groot looking skin that is like completely jet black. You can barely see that at all in dark shadow areas. Having to go back to using completely regular audio settings was very, very noticeable as well. So normally I use a custom EQ program on PC, and it allows me to kind of make those noises of footsteps stand out above other noises. And when other noises were going on in the game, like shooting and explosions, it's definitely hard to hear footsteps on console. When it was perfectly quiet, I had no problem. But like I said, when there's a lot of things going on, which is most of the time, it's definitely harder to hear footsteps and also kind of tell exactly where they're coming from. But honestly, my biggest complaint or the biggest difference I felt wasn't really the console itself, but the controller. So normally I play with a custom aim controller, and this has paddles on the back. So my X, square, circle, triangle, they're all bound to these buttons, and it allows me to hit those buttons while I never have to take my thumb off the analog stick. So when I started using a completely normal PS5 controller with no back buttons, I had to like reteach myself that, oh, I have to actually take my thumb off the analog stick and hit square to reload and hit triangle to switch weapons or plate. And that was just super awkward in general for me. I'm sure it would have got better the more I played, but it definitely made it harder to do things like sliding and jumping around corners and really like being able to utilize movement. And then also when it comes to aiming in general, I definitely struggled more on the short analog stick. So my aim controller, it has a very tall right analog stick. And when you hold it up compared to this one, it's kind of hard to see because they're dark, but it's like double the height, or I guess half the height on the default one. And that smaller analog stick, it gives you less room to aim. So I highly recommend, if you do have a normal PS5 controller, go and buy a control freak. They're like 10, 15 bucks. They pop on top of your analog stick, and that alone will make a huge difference in your game. Now, on top of having to use a regular controller, this controller was not overclocked. If you don't know what that means, overclocking a controller is basically where you give it the lowest possible input delay, where it theoretically can have input delay as low as 1 millisecond. Now, if you're just using a normal PS5 controller that's like connected to your Bluetooth, via to the PS5, it's probably going to be at least 10 milliseconds of input delay, if not maybe even more. And when you're someone like me who's used to playing on a ultra low input delay controller, I absolutely noticed that difference. And it's just every action you do, it just has that very, very slight delay. And when it comes to making like fine adjustments to your aim and things like that, it's a little bit harder to do, I would say. Now, I'll also say that is why my controller is always plugged in when I am playing on my PC, because you have to have it plugged in to have that lowest possible input delay. So no, it's not plugged into a Cronus or anything. Now, on the topic of that, in terms of aim assist, assist. Does aim assist magically become stronger on PC versus console? After playing both Warzone and also playing the MW3 beta on PS5 and on PC, I don't really think aim assist is any different. I think the bigger difference is in that input delay, and also having, when I played on with the shorter analog stick, made a very big difference in my aim. Absolutely, overall, my aim was better on PC, but I think it's more the controller itself than the console or PC that made the difference. Now, I won't spend too much time here, but if you are interested in checking out one of the controllers I use an aim controller from aimcontrollers.com, and I do have a code TCaptainX that will save you $55 off and order $199 or more during the month of October. Also comes with a lifetime warranty. They're guaranteed to ship within 10 days. They're awesome controllers. I've been using them for well over a year now. By far my favorite custom controller that is in the space right now. Now, to answer the question, can you play like a pro on a regular console, and does switching to PC instantly make you an insane top level player? Well, the gameplay that you're going to watch is actually my first game on console and my first game using a default controller, and I dropped over 30 kills on Vandal Resurgence. So hopefully that alone will answer your question. But to summarize, does PC give you an advantage? Absolutely. But will it make you go from an average player to instantly become a demon top level player? Heck no. It definitely can help, and I think you could argue like maybe your KD would bump up by 0.1 or 0.2 right away from making the switch, but I think you could also argue that the skill-based matchmaking might get a little bit harder once you enter into more PC dominant lobbies, although that might just be a theory and I don't really have anything to back that up. So I'll stop talking though, and I'll leave you to watch the rest of this gameplay, which, like I said, is a 30+ kill gameplay on console on a normal controller. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Marking the rest of them. Mark remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy soldier incoming. Friendly airstrike on the way. Your squad mates back on station. Good work. Enemy destroyed. Use your TAC map to hunt down the rest of them. Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your TAC map. Get hunting. Kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your TAC map. Get hunting. Fire sale active. Buy station prices have been reduced. Hostile more strike in the area. It's confirmed. We've located the rest of them. Target down. Marking the rest of them. Have reinforcements inbound. Resurgence is about to end. Make it count. Fire sales over. Adjusting prices. Hostiles dropping into the area. Watch the side. Gas is moving. Mark remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Destroyed. Use your TAC map to hunt down the rest. Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your TAC map. Get hunting. Enemy dropping. Enemy destroyed. Use your TAC map to hunt down the rest of them. operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Resurgence has closed. No more second chances.
Yeah, I actually might drop a 40 bomb for one.
Hostiles dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
No. No. Wait. Teammates, yes.
Got myself up.
Oh my gosh.
Got gas moving in. Your team has entered the safe zone.
No.